here's to 2020 free, as I'm putting it. And free can mean whatever brings meaning to you. You know, freedom, free time, free will, and being untethered, free from. For me, it's meaning that, free from. So no, not free from gluten or sugar, but free from stories and old beliefs that I no longer want to believe in. So I'm going to share with you a recent experience I had where I really realized an old story that wasn't serving me. And the outcome, I believe, can really help you potentially to rethink where you could be feeling more free as we go into 2023. So I have always associated my personality type with the perfect achiever. So, you know, it can be useful to be like the Greek warrior Athena when you have pressing deadlines, but it can also be exhausting to constantly live under that kind of archetype. And so I try to bring in a bit of balance of wise sage and a little bit of rebel. Over 10 years ago, about a decade ago, I started working in the UK. And my achiever personality made that it worked. I developed a great network, great friendships, and 5 years ago I decided to come across to the UK permanently. I did know that I would have 5 years before I could apply for my settled status, and so I got documents together in the perfect way and spreadsheets and prepared, and I was told it would be difficult, expensive, tedious. So when the time came, October last year, I was really excited and eager to apply. So I did, and I waited, and I waited, and I waited. And after 3 months, on the 28th of December, I realized that I had made and done the application in the wrong place. I had such a sleepless night. You can imagine my inner critic and the perfectionist and the warrior in me really had a field day, well, a field night. And it reminded me of a question that I got from one of my coaches, Angela Dochman. And she said, whenever you feel stress or anxiety or you're challenged, ask yourself, what about this situation is showing me what I truly desire? So what does the situation show me about what I truly desire? For me, it was showing that I really desire to have roots in the UK, and I feel like I'm making a difference. I want to know that I can stay, that I can have security and build a home. Another question that I got from another coach, Dr. Francis Yahia, is when you experience some form of stress or challenge, is to ask yourself, what is the situation, or what about the situation don't I like? What about the situation don't I like? This question can really help you mine gold. When I thought about that question when I was tossing and turning for hours and hours, was what I don't like is that it felt like my time had been wasted. Really bad for an achiever, warrior goddess, right? I felt that I had not asked the right questions, that I hadn't found the right advice, that the system could have been more efficient. Oh, wow, it brought up so many deeply held beliefs that life has to be hard and hard work should be rewarded. Another thing that came out was, well, who am I to have it so easy? Other people were struggling. They had to put in all the documents and have the interviews and spend the money. So I found out that actually the process, at least for me, would be to simply approve my ID on a government-approved app. And then the system would have all it needed about me from the past 5 years. You mean I didn't need like compressed PDFs and spreadsheets? No, I didn't. And when I did the application on the 28th of December, I was told that it would take a week. And so I resigned to the fact that I would never get a response before the end of the year, which is what I ultimately had desired when I first applied in October. Much to my delight, on the 5th of January at 5 o'clock, 23, I think 5 might become my new lucky number, I found an email that had been sitting in my inbox for a week that said, welcome, and here is your settled status. You have unlimited leave to remain in the UK. So the magic about that is that actually my application had taken less than 24 hours. And so how could this story possibly help you? Well, if you are planning to get your settled status in the UK, feel free to give me a call. I'd love to chat about my experience if it can help you. But firstly is when you go through a challenging time is to challenge old beliefs and stories. Be still, sit with yourself. And this can be the hardest part, right? Because the conscious mind, your inner critic, your ego will try and get in the way. Be patient and sit and let your gut brain let things come up. And then don't judge what comes up. Simply notice them and let them come through and feel them, because feeling is healing. And it can be useful to have conscious questions. So speak to coaches, get advice from others. Have a question that you can come back to, like, what is this showing me about what I truly desire? Or what about the situation don't I like? And then perhaps ask yourself the questions. Where in 2023 would you like to feel more free? Where can you free yourself from old stories and beliefs? Where are you making it more difficult than it needs to be? That's one I'm taking with me from this experience. What if life could be easier? What if you could get answers to problems and find solutions and creative outcomes that feel magical in less than 24 hours? So I wish you a lot of freedom for whatever that means in 2023. And remember to always keep the words, the admonition by Mary Oliver, close in your heart. Always keep room in your heart for the unimaginable.